So I'm making something for my partner and mine's anniversary on the 11th next week, August 11th. And I'm using a crochet pattern from Planet June. I'll link it down below. Partner's in the other room, so I'm not going to say it, but this is what it is. So I'm just going to kind of like periodically be updating, updating the progress flow, because I'm not about to put the full pattern on the internet. That's crappy to the pattern maker, especially since I don't have permission. I'm just doing update as I see it / reviewing the pattern, and I will be, hopefully, if I can figure out a way to contact them, I will be contacting them and letting them know that I have this video up. But yes, I'm going to be upgrading. I'm going to be updating periodically. Also, I currently have COVID-19, so that's why I sound like crap and why I'm not going to work. And instead, I'm working on this pattern. Okay, so I'm like just starting it, but this is how it's turning out so far. I'm doing something different though. I'm using it's not embroidery floss, it's thread specifically used to make friendship bracelets as my stitch marker. Normally I would use another piece of yarn, but that's in the other room and I don't feel like going and getting it, so I just used embroidery floss, or not embroidery, friendship thread, friendship making this stuff, friendship thread. So I'm gonna experiment with that. I think that this will be, I think it'll be better than using other yarn, because if you use another color of yarn, depending on how cheap the yarn is, you can leave like hairs and fragments of the other color in your work. Not to mention, if you make your stitches too tight, it can be harder to pull out, whereas this thing is like super skinny. So, way to make the video about you, Mr. Locke. Are you proud? Are you proud that you're in the video? I don't know if you guys could see him do the slow blink thing, but he's proud. He's happy he's in the video. Okay, here is how it's looking so far. Not bad. So my next step involves taking a stitch marker. It does say you can use a scrap of contrasting yarn, and putting it on the second decrease to mark the top of the head. I'm gonna have to go get a stitch marker because I'm already using one yarn for that. This is a very, very smart trick. I didn't even think about using this before, but I am slightly salty that I am gonna have to get up and go get a stitch marker, because I don't like using stitch markers other than like the contrasting yarn that I always use. I am back with the salt. So we moved and I cannot find my stitch markers. So this is going to be, this purple ribbon here is going to be my stitch marker. Yeah, I figured I'd loop it around the stitch and then just kind of give it ye old, you know. So that's what I have going. I just smashed the table. That's what I have going right now. So I will say I have learned a new technique with this pattern, which is always nice. It's always a plus when you learn something new. And that was a different way to do an invisible decrease. I'm not going to give any context. If you want, you can go to Planet June. Let me see what it is. It is planetjune.com/INVDEC. Has a wonderful step-by-step tutorial with pictures on how to do that stitch, and I personally appreciate the pictures and not a video, because I'm already like doing other things, you know. like I'm listening to music or I'm taking care of my partner and stuff. Look at his little foot sticking up, I just noticed. Anyway, so I appreciate the fact that it was a picture tutorial and not a video tutorial. There might be a video tutorial on there too, I didn't really look. Oh, also, Planet June does for right-handies and left-handies, and I'm a right-hander myself, so, you know, to me, it's not that big of a deal if there's not a left-hand tutorial on there, but I do know a lot of left-hand people who sometimes have problems trying to do tutorials or trying to follow tutorials on crochet because everybody's always right-handed to them, or, well, not everybody, but most people are right-handed on them, so it's really nice and convenient to see that there is a left hand and a right hand version that's really inclusive and stuff. Let's see here. I don't think I see a video, but even if there's not a video, that's not that bad. But yeah, overall, I highly recommend that. Also, as far as the iguana pattern goes, I'm not really going to give much context here. I'm just going to say that round 10 of the head is... I hope you didn't hear that. Round 10 of the head is a little confusing. As far as where to put the stitch marker goes. Because it's unclear if it's just a little unclear in my opinion. I feel like the specification should be made invisible decrease, like after the divisible decrease, but before the next step, if that's where it needs to go, due to how round 10 has a step in parentheses and it says to do that twice. So in my mind, it's a little unclear if it's invisible decrease step, invisible decrease, then stitch marker, or if it's invisible decrease step twice and then stitch marker. And that does make a difference on where the stitch marker goes. And I'm probably just overthinking it, but in my opinion, it's just a little bit unclear. Okay, I have figured it out. It is directly after the invisible decrease. That's all I'm gonna say. Here is the progress. They use, I think they're called safety eyes. It's these things. They have the back in this. They use, I think it's 10mm safety eyes. Yeah, 2 eyes, approximately 10mm in diameter. Animal safety eyes are recommended. And that's cool. I'm sure that this looks good, but I'm going for more of a patchwork look instead of a realistic look or semi-realistic look. So I'm gonna use buttons. It does say you can use buttons or embroider if you want. I think I'm just gonna use buttons, and I'm probably gonna use buttons that are comically large, or not, maybe not like really large, but I'm gonna use buttons bigger than what's recommended because again, I'm going for more of a patchwork look, and I want this to be like, I want it to look even more handmade than it already will. I don't know if that makes sense or not. It's raining really hard, so I hope that doesn't get picked up too much. I am aware, God, it looks even worse on camera. I'm aware that they are uneven. I don't care. I give them little slow peoples. I'm aware that they're uneven. I don't care. I'm not good at making eyes even. But again, I don't really care. I know that Brandon's gonna like it regardless. And I feel like it adds to its charm. Also, 90% positive Brandon's gonna call it Albert or Albert 2 because I made a bird for his birthday. Let's just say that the eyes on this compared to the eyes on the bird, they look great. They look like an exact replica. They're even on everything. The bird's eyes were like, one was down here and one was up here. Filming an update because I hadn't done that yet. This is where we're sitting. Overall, not too bad. I think I like it so far. Here are my lovely stitch markers, and then of course the main big one. So I'm at this point. It is the method that they have listed. I'm not sure of pronouns, so I'm trying to use they, them. But the pronouns, fucking Christ. The method that is listed for keeping the tail, keeping the stripes straight, not that bad. I mean, here you can only kind of see where mine stick up, and honestly, it's kind of sticking it in front of the camera makes it worse than it actually looks in person. I believe they call the methods, let's see here, the invisible join and the no cut join. I am doing the no cut join, which it is disclosed that the no cut join is slightly more visible. Not bad at all. I will say that when looking at the tutorial of the join methods, that perfect stripe method, that when looking at the perfect stripe methods, they are done in video format instead of picture format, which I guess I understand because it can be a little bit more complicated to type that out and take more pictures of that versus the invisible decrease. However, I still personally appreciated the picture tutorial versus the video tutorial. That's just a personal preference though. They had both right hand and left hand videos again, which was great. Here's the update on how it's looking. Not too bad. I did make a slight mistake. I accidentally added a 7th stitch on the tail. That's all I'm gonna say. So your tail is a bit wider than what it's supposed to be, but it doesn't really matter. It's fine. So a little testimony to how good my reading skills are. In the instructions, it says to work from ankle up. I read it as angle up constantly. Worked from angle up. I was like, what the fuck does angled up mean? I literally scrolled through all of the instructions trying to figure out what does working from angle up mean. Like, I've never heard of that in crochet. What the hell does this mean? And I'm scrolling all through it and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna wing it. And if it's not right, whatever. I don't care. It already looks derpy enough with those eyes. whatever, just add to the derp, I don't care. And then I scroll back to the instructions where it says the leg, and it says worked from ankle up, not angle up. My guys, I deadass spent like 10 minutes trying to figure out what work from angle up meant, only for me to scroll back down and realize that that's not even what it says. So I'm working on the spikes, and because of the color I'm using like a dark chocolate color. It looks like ice cream drizzles. So this gives me an idea for future patterns, but I just thought it was funny how it looks kind of like, it's supposed to be stripes on the body, or spikes on the body, but it looks like little ice cream dribbles. I got my leggies done. The little derpy ass legs. This one I put the foot on backwards, so it's fine. Their name is Penelope. Here is my unassembled creature. What an interesting look. This thing is a little curled. The spikes are a little curled. I assume that's because my own tension was probably too tight, but here's the unassembled creature. Yes. It looks so weird before you actually put the legs on. So, here's the legs before they get bent. How is this leg higher than the other one? I literally shoved the pipe cleaner through. The pipe cleaner, what the? Okay, that's not the pattern's fault. That's just my own stupidity. I don't know how I did that, but whatever. Bindi boy. I stuffed all of the tail, and here's the area where I accidentally added an extra stitch. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna shove a pipe cleaner through the tail now, so it's bendable, because I don't like it. I may have made a mistake. Well, it is done. It is finished. I really like the spikes. I think the spikes are really, really cool. So I'm like horrible at estimating how much it's going to take. So I have all the scrap. What I do is I take a little baggie and I put my scrap in the baggie. Because you can always use this as stuffing later or as yarn markers. This is Penelope. No, Penelope. I don't know. Today is only the 7th. I will ask Brandon if he wants to get it now or if he wants to wait. I know that it looks like I haven't done a single thing because I'm filming at my same spot with the same pajama top on. But it is the 12th. I don't remember when I last filmed the last section of that video, but I gave Brandon the iguana yesterday. He adored it. He's still not feeling the best. I'm pretty much better from COVID, but he got strep right after it. I don't know how, but he did manage to get strep right after COVID, and he's still recovering from the strep. So he didn't want to be on camera because he didn't feel good, which is fine, whatever. So, yeah. But he did love it. He thought it was really cute. I asked him what the name of it was, and he responded with Albert, just like I guessed, it would be Albert. Just like the bird I made him is named Albert, just like his car is named Albert. um, but yeah, he said that he liked it. Overall, I'd personally rate the pattern a 9.5 out of 10. Just because to me personally it was a little confusing, like some of the wordings was a little confusing for me, but overall it was a very, very easy pattern. It had plenty of tutorials and plenty of information on the actual website, so you did have to go to the website to get those tutorials, but honestly that's not a big of a deal. It's much easier for me to click the link in the pattern or copy and paste the link in the pattern than Googling what I'm looking for or trying to find it on YouTube. It's right there, neat and laid out for me that way. God. It's like midnight, 1 a.m., something like that. I'm tired. I worked a full day of work. But yeah, overall it was a very nice pattern. I liked it. Personally, I rate my iguana like an 8 out of 10. Like the pattern's a 9.5 out of 10, but my iguana Albert looks a little messed up. But yeah, that's it. I think that this pattern is very beginner friendly, at least in my opinion. Like I said, god damn it. Like I said, there was tutorials to pretty much anything that could seem confusing as far as actual pattern work goes or actual stitches go. I learned something new from it, which is always a plus. While I did learn new things, ultimately the pattern consisted of very simple stitches. I think it was just chain, slip, single crochet, the invisible decrease, and I think it was all just variations of that. I could be missing something, but I didn't yawn at all before I started talking, before I turned on the camera. But pretty much everything was beginner friendly. Like all of those stitches are very easy for a beginner, and yeah, I would definitely recommend this pattern to anybody who's a beginner who wants it. I think in US money it was 6 something. I think it was $6.50 for the pattern. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'll post a link to the Etsy link down below. I bought it off Etsy. There is an official website that you can buy it on, but since I got it off of Etsy, I'll be listing the Etsy listing.